a sensible walkthrough of how I sanded my floors. These floorboards were installed in the 1970s. I checked on the planning register. For reference, pine being produced in the 1970s was much higher quality than it is now, harder and a tighter grain. My first attempt at handling this machine signified to me that I was going to have the arms of a bricklayer at the end of the weekend. Before any sanding began, all the gaps were filled, which you can see in another video where my builder does that for me. I believe in getting men to do things for you wherever you can. So although I've mentioned before that this was back-breaking work, this was not due to the tools themselves, which were wonderful to work with, just the volume of the work itself. I hired these tools from MKM, the walking sander and an edger sander. I began with an 80 graded sandpaper, but then moved to a 60 because the wood was actually able to take a heavier sanding. So the first day was just doing the entire floor in grade 60. I had somebody to help to do the edges, which was probably much harder work than the actual pushing tool. I worked out a technique as I went along. I began only by putting the sander down as I was walking forwards and lifting as I was going backwards, but then I ended up doing more of a Hoover technique, going forwards and backwards with the sander down, which gave much more control over the finish and halved the time it took to do it. When I came to the hallway, as you can see, I had to go against the grain because it was so narrow there was no way that I could go with the grain. Although in hindsight I wouldn't have bothered with the walking tool and done the whole thing with the edging tool, because I ended up having to go over it several times to get rid of the marks that had been made by going against the grain. So here is day 2 of the sanding, and I skipped from grade 60 to grade 120, and as you can see, the sheen is starting to appear on the wood as the finer grade takes effect. I don't know how professionals would feel about me skipping grades like this, but it worked for me, and I was doing day 2 on my own and had to get through everything, including the edging, which I will get to in a second because that's the back-breaking bit. The really time-consuming part is actually changing the bags, sweeping up, and changing the sandpaper itself. So back to the edging tool. This has a kick on it like Sinatra didn't get from champagne, and it's all I could do to stop it from running across the room without me. This is me in the recovery position. This was the greatest squat workout of my life. Towards the end of the evening, assistants came, and it was at this point that I sat on the bottom step and cried. It took around 7 hours on the first day and around 7 hours on the second day. And then evening came, and the blackbird began to sing its even song, and all was well with the world.